When an online shopper places an order, how that package arrives matters. I'm Al Coe, the CEO of ShipStation. Our promise is to make that process as easy as possible for you. ShipStation provides a robust platform to manage everything you sell, automate manual shipping tasks, and get the lowest possible carrier rates. Keep your team and your customers happy. Go to ShipStation.com to sign up for your free trial. That's ShipStation.com.
Unplug your cleaning routine with the Ryobi 18-volt One Plus cordless cleaning lineup. From tackling bathroom tile with the soap-dispensing telescoping power scrubber, to cleaning wet and dry messes with the 2-in-1 Wet-Dry Swift Clean Stick Vacuum, to cleaning up pet hair and debris with our advanced stick vacuum, Ryobi has a solution for every cleaning task. And because one battery powers over 300 products, you have the power to do more. Visit RyobiTools.com to learn more. Sold exclusively at the Home Depot.
This is VSiN By The Books on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Hump Day edition of VSiN By The Books. Jensen Lewis in your customary post, as you well know. But it is so great to welcome in a friend from many moons ago. It has been a minute, as the kids say. Keith Irizarry joins me here for today, tomorrow, and Friday. Buddy, I know when we got the schedule and saw that we would be able to do this together, I was really psyched for it because the roles have actually been reversed in years past where I've jumped on your shows. So great to be driving the bus with you here for the next couple of days. How we doing?
I'm good, man. Yeah, it's funny. I think it was back in like 2018, 2019. You used to come on my shows all the time. You were one of my my MLB experts. It was fantastic. I've loved watching your career, post pitching, do what you're doing. It's fantastic. And we worked together on VSiN, I don't know, about a month ago or so. And yeah, when the schedule came out and they said, morning show, I'm like, sure, I'll do a morning show with Jensen. Got it. I'm in. Let's roll.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Boy, do we have a boatload to cover here. Loaded show as always for you today. A couple of great guests coming up in the 8 o'clock Eastern hour. Josh Inglis, who will talk actually some hockey. Boy, what an amazing night yet again we had on hockey. And boy, it has been a really ridiculously good NHL postseason. Also, our man Adam Burke will join us, VSiN managing editor, in the 9 o'clock hour, talk all things baseball, some of his best bets for the day. We do have the Daily Diamond per usual. We'll have Whiff Wednesday, some MLB award odds. If you have some guys in pocket, maybe some others to add to your portfolio. But without further ado, let's jump right into it, to our highlights and headlines.
Help your bottom line with today's highlights and headlines.
Everyone usually says Cleveland rocks, at least here in Northeast Ohio. Boy, did Cleveland get rocked last night. If you did not stay on TNT, TBS to watch the end of that Cavaliers and Pacers game, you miss history yet again. In the span of a week now, Keith, we've had the Indiana Pacers pull off what is nothing short of a miracle, as the Cavaliers had a double-digit lead at the end of the third quarter, down 3 of their key players in Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter, yet find a way to melt away that lead, even a 7-point lead with 40 seconds remaining in the final minute. So the Pacers, another huge come-from-behind win. Tyrese Halliburton hits the 3 with about a second to go. And now, Keith, the Pacers, a 2-0 lead headed back to Indianapolis.
And Jensen, there's layers to this one, right? And I think if you peel back the onion, you find out all that you want about this series. So you mentioned the trio for the Cavaliers out, yet they still get out to a big lead in the first half. Donovan Mitchell was putting on a Superman cape like a lot of people thought he was going to need to, nearly goes for 50 points. But when push comes to shove, this Pacers team, Jensen, I don't know if you feel it. Sometimes you get that like team of destiny type of thing. You start getting a vibe about them. They seemingly rock well with each other. Nembhard, who's a terrible three-point shooter during the regular season, suddenly becomes Reggie Miller in the postseason with his three-point shooting. Tyrese Halliburton was, voted the most overrated player in the NBA. I know there were only 90 votes, but whatever. Still was clearly not overrated with the amount of, domination he puts forth in a fourth quarter. We talk about Mr. Clutch all the time for Jalen Brunson. Halliburton would like to throw his name out there as well. And this Pacers team just feels like something is brewing there. They got far last year. Maybe they get a little bit further. And you said it. You started off usually Cleveland rocks, and they got rocked. It was a very clever way to put it. But yeah, you got to feel for these Cavalier fans because this was the season, right? Everything was going right until it's not.
Yeah, and you look at kind of where the setup is now. Kenny Atkinson, Coach of the Year for the Cavaliers, and will have probably his toughest stint now as a first-year man, trying to get this group rallied together and more importantly, healthy. You mentioned the Pacers, Aaron Nesmith with 5 3-pointers, and Tyrese Halliburton, we saw him kind of clutching that left wrist a little bit in the second half. Boy, did he really forge through. And again, the dagger 3-pointer with just a little over a second to go as the Pacers now will take a 2-0 lead back to Indianapolis. That series price has shifted majorly in favor of Indiana, now minus $2.05. Cavaliers on the comeback, plus $1.75. More importantly, though, Keith, you on the look ahead here to Friday night, the Cavaliers are still a 1.5 favorite at the moment, total of 229.5. And by the way, if you had the over, that one hit as well yesterday. But I think that's probably the more intriguing part here is who will be healthy enough when Game 3 gets underway on Friday night for the Cavaliers. And with all the energy Donovan Mitchell expended single-handedly, I mean, he was gassed. He was taking a lot of hits, driving into the lane. So anxious to see as we get maybe a little bit more news today and tomorrow, Keith, what the health of this Cavalier team will look like headed into Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, Darius Garland has missed 4 consecutive postseason games with the toe injury. DeAndre Hunter was out. Mobley was out. Mobley, a Defensive Player of the Year. So my guess is, as we sit here on Wednesday, May 7th at 7:05 a.m. Eastern Time, if you're pricing that the Cavs are the favorite in game number 3, my guess is at least 2 of 3 of those players that missed game number 2 will be back. I wanted to throw out a quick stat, by the way, that I missed. So teams that are down by 7 or more points in the final minute of the fourth quarter and the overtime in the postseason. Here's a cool one for you, Jensen. They've won 3 times and they've lost 1,641 times in the history of the NBA playoffs. Pretty interesting. Those are some odds.
No. God, nightmare fuel for those of us here in Northeast Ohio, no question about it. So that was the appetizer, if you will, because perhaps some people in the main event looking out west and into the Great Lakes region as the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Golden State Warriors got underway their series last night. This one felt like it was going to be the Anthony Edwards revenge tour, knowing what Steve Kerr had said about him, even as back as far as draft day, and said, no, we wouldn't even take you. So we're thinking, okay, heading into this series, it's going to be the Anthony Edwards show. And Minnesota, who a lot of people thought, particularly some of our great colleagues at the network, that Minnesota could be the most dangerous team in the bottom part of the bracket as this Western Conference playoffs played out. Well, it was the Golden State Warriors and the veteran nature of that group, even with Steph Curry having to leave and being ruled out into the second half, the Warriors end up winning outright too. So that means all 4 of the underdogs won game 1. We'll tell you what that means here in a moment. But first and foremost, Warriors get to win 99-88. Very old school game for those of you that grew up in the 80s and 90s, seeing actual defense played in NBA postseason games. But the Warriors win it outright, plus another $1.95 on the money line. They covered the spread easily, obviously, and that under hitting as well. Keith, biggest takeaways for you from game 1 of this series?
Living and dying by the three-pointer in the postseason is not always a recipe for success. We saw the Boston Celtics miss 45 three-pointers the other night and break records that way. And then you saw the Timberwolves struggled to hit the outside shot against the Warriors as well. I guess the biggest takeaway, obviously, to bury the lead is Steph Curry, right? 13 points in 13 minutes, leaves with the hamstring strain. We, don't know what's going to happen for game number 2. Gets a little bit of a reprieve. If he were to miss game number 2, you have the bigger break between game 2 and Game 3. But while the Warriors were able to play defense and get some good shooting for Draymond and Buddy Hield and Jimmy Butler and the sort, they can't win this series without Steph Curry. So whatever magic has to happen in that locker room to make sure that Steph Curry is available, even if he misses game number 2, but for the remainder of the series, Miyagi needs to do whatever he needs to do, rub the hand, we're good, and get him back out there. They can't win the series without him. That's the biggest takeaway.
Yeah, no question. Warriors and Timberwolves get underway for Game 2 tomorrow night. Timberwolves already a 10-point favorite here at the Open, total of 202. And as you mentioned, Keith, a lot of that incumbent upon the status of Steph Curry. So I'm sure we'll see potentially those numbers move in a different direction if we find out that Steph is available. So again, if you're looking at the series markets here, the Timberwolves now minus $1.55, still the favorite, but the Warriors come crashing down to about plus $1.35 there, and they do what they have to do, being able to steal a game on the road. We mentioned, Keith, that all 4 of the underdogs now in Game 1s of the second round series have won. The Knicks defeating the Celtics, the Nuggets, winning as well, and then we get our 2 underdogs from last night's games winning as well. It is the way in which they won that was so incredible. And if you look at win percentage graphs on some of these websites and see where our great friend and colleague Sarah Langs likes to call it the wee chart for MLB win percentages when you get to late frames of games. Take a look at this if you're watching the VSiN Watch app, VSiN.com. And for those of you listening on Sirius Channel 158, I mean, it just looks like someone got pushed coloring on a table and the line just goes completely the opposite direction right at the end of that line chart.
That is something. By the way, it's also the first time in NBA history that all the road teams won Game 1 of the second round. So you had a lot of firsts. It's a weird NBA playoff so far, and it's a weird Game 1s as well. I think we should buckle up. I think we're going to have a lot of fun over the next couple of weeks in this NBA playoffs. There were a lot of people, Jensen, saying NBA playoffs stink. I think you guys might be wrong out there. It's been pretty fun.
We shall see. Again, Game 2 is underway tonight. We'll jump into that more as the show goes on. Knicks and Celtics and Nuggets and Thunder tonight. Both those dogs are double-digit dogs. Heading into tonight, we'll break all that down coming up. Also, night on the ice last night. Yeah, we got another overtime game, and it was a thriller all the way to the end. Another third period to remember. And the Carolina Hurricanes and Washington Capitals continue to deliver in the NHL postseason. Don't go anywhere. More VSiN by the books when we come back. Jensen Lewis, Keith Irizarry here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
When a shopper places an order, you have one shot at winning them as a lifelong customer. I'm Al Coe, CEO of ShipStation. I'm obsessed with ShipStation being the most reliable and efficient way you can ship. At ShipStation, our promise is to make shipping easier for e-commerce business owners. We're focused on providing the most integrations with all the places you sell and automating manual tasks to make fulfillment easier for your team. We partner with all the major carriers to make sure you get the lowest possible rates because every dollar counts. So no matter what you're sending or where you're shipping to, ShipStation can get it there fast and keep your customers happy. See for yourself how ShipStation can reduce the time and effort you spend on order fulfillment. Go to ShipStation.com to sign up for your free trial. That's ShipStation.com.
Unplug your cleaning routine with the Ryobi 18 Volt One Plus cordless cleaning lineup. From tackling bathroom tile with the soap dispensing telescoping power scrubber, to cleaning wet and dry messes with the 2-in-1 Wet Dry Swift Clean Stick Vacuum, to cleaning up pet hair and debris with our advanced stick vacuum, Ryobi has a solution for every cleaning task. And because one battery powers over 300 products, you have the power to do more. Visit ryobitools.com to learn more. Sold exclusively at the Home Depot.
You're tuned in to VSiN by the books, right here on VSiN.
St. Louis, Keith Irizarry in for Dave Ross, who is on vacation at Virginia Beach. I'm sure he's probably still up, Keith, with the body clock. You and I, veterans of the morning shift for many years, so it's always hard to go on vacation and try and get away from the routine because you're so locked in. But we hope Dave is having a great time seeing family and friends. He will be back on Monday, and we'll get into a boatload of things moving forward into next week. Keith, let's jump into the night on ice last night. 2 games getting underway for their second round series, both in the East and in the West. First and foremost, the Washington Capitals, top point scorers this year in the regular season. They get by with ease in round 1, but a team in the Carolina Hurricanes, who I think many thought might have been flying under the radar, playing them quite tough. And Washington was in control for most of this game yesterday, but Carolina gets an equalizer in the third period and ultimately gets the game winner in overtime to take game 1 on the road. We've seen a lot of home dogs so far in the NHL postseason, but Carolina, a short favorite last night. They get the win 2-1 in OT.
I like Carolina in this series, by the way, and I like Carolina coming in to this series. Now, listen, I think there are storylines here, too, when you talk about history, right? Carolina has struggled over the last couple of years in the postseason. A lot of people come into postseason saying this could be the year, this could be the year, and they fall short. And then, of course, the President's Trophy curse. No one has won the Stanley Cup since, 2013, when winning the President's Trophy, meaning you had the most points during the regular season. Rangers did it last year. They fell short, and on and on and on. The Capitals are a dangerous team. They are a deep team. The storyline on them last year was that they went into the postseason with a negative point differential. It was the opposite this year. They scored, they played defense, they did everything you could. But the Carolina Hurricanes, they play a specific brand of hockey that works or should work in the postseason. It worked last night. They need low-scoring games. The lower scoring these games are, the more likely it is that the Carolina Hurricanes will win this series. A 2-1 game like this is literally the recipe for success for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, no doubt. Hurricanes now in the series price up to almost minus a $4 favorite. Capitals now 3-1 to win this series. And again, Caps will be a slight home dog when they resume that series tomorrow. Plus $1.14 the Capitals are in the money line. Hurricanes minus $1.35, total of 5.5. Total never in doubt yesterday. A lot of chances. I know what's fascinating about that game, though, Keith, when you looked at it, a boatload of traffic that the Capitals had in front of their netminder, and so many of those block shots. I mean, upwards of 25, 30 block shots. In Carolina, I was a howitzer. They were just firing left, right, center. Just could not find anything to get on net for most of the game. But boy, when it counted most, they certainly were able to get it done. Speaking of getting pucks on net, I think we anticipated that this Edmonton and VGK series would be a high-scoring one. The only game thus far that's had a 6.5 total hung there. Vegas out to an early 2-0 lead, and it looked like home ice was going to be where they were going to be so beneficial. But boy, when you got Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, you got a chance in any single game, as our great Jonathan Davis always tells us. Edmonton, 4 unanswered goals. They go on to win as a road dog themselves to be able to take game 1 against VGK 4-2.
And again, storylines, right? All right, so McDavid gets 2 helpers on the night, and you go, can you win without him scoring a goal? Yes, you can. I'll tell you this. I did fire on this bet last night, so as I'm flipping back and forth between hockey and basketball, you look at this game, and the Oilers were trailing 2-1 midway through the second period, and the Oilers had outshot Vegas 23-11. Thus far. You just knew the offense was going to capitalize at some point for the Edmonton Oilers, and they do exactly just that. So it was plus 165 on the live money line. I did fire on it, loved it. Edmonton scores 3 goals in the third period. They take the game, and the Oilers have now won 5 consecutive games. And if you believe in streaks and trends, and a lot of betting people do, you got to start looking at what they do in the third period, because they're a plus 11 goal differential in the third period thus far in the postseason. So basically what I'm telling you is, if the game is in striking distance in the third period, you might want to fire on the Oilers. Just saying.
3 goals themselves. You're right. It was 2-1 after one period. No goals in the second. Mark Stone, the first 2 for VGK, and then the Oilers defense was able to tighten up. So Edmonton with the game 1 win. Series price now, if you want to jump in, VGK is plus a 195 dog. Edmonton up to minus $2.30. You see some of the series exacta prices right there, and anxious to see how VGK and the sense of urgency will come out when they get back underway in this series. That one will resume tomorrow. Right now, VGK minus $1.35 favorite, Edmonton plus $1.14 on the comeback. Speaking of games that will get back underway tonight, game 2 of this Panthers and Maple Leaf series, I do have a bet already in pocket. I did jump on the puck line here for the Panthers, but again, a Maple Leaf squad, you talk about coming out with a sense of urgency, Keith. How about 3 goals in that first period? And the Maple Leafs had to hold on for dear life to eke out that game 1 victory 5-4. Anticipating perhaps another high scoring game in your eyes, or do we feel we get a little bit of regression back to the mean here?
I mean, potentially a little bit of regression, but the question mark here is, does Anthony Stolarz play, right? So he took the elbow, the goalie for the Maple Leafs, took an elbow in the head, was seen vomiting on the side, ended up, unfortunately, having to be taken to a hospital on a stretcher. He has not officially been ruled out, but he is questionable, and he kind of stabilized this Maple Leafs team all year between the pipes. And in the postseason, Toronto struggled so mightily over the last, decade, basically, because they never get goaltending. They never have the netminder, and Stolarz is the guy that they were going to rely on. And when Woll came in, clearly it took a step back because they were outscored 3-1 to the end of the game. With all that being said, I think the Panthers, whether Stolarz is in net or not, I think Florida will find a way to win the game. They're clearly priced as the favorite. I would take the Panthers in this one. Ultimately, I took the Panthers to win this series anyway, and I think they'll figure it out. They just seem to be getting a little bit healthier as well. And yes, the question mark is Stolarz. If Stolarz doesn't play, I would say Panthers win like 4-1 tonight.
Yeah, Panthers getting 60% of the bets, 75% of the handle at DraftKings, minus $1.42 on the money line there. 37% of bets, 88% of the handle. Keith, on the puck line for Florida, minus 1.5. And if you do want to check out these betting splits, we highly recommend you become a VSiN Pro subscriber. VSiN.com. If you want to bet smarter with smarter insights, that's the place to be. A boatload of content coming up for you, especially today. Wes Reynolds, Wednesdays with Wes, always getting his thoughts and preview for the upcoming Truist Championship. Greg Peterson has his MLB picks, the great Jonathan Von Tobel. He has an awesome article on home court advantage in the NBA playoffs, or the lack thereof, we shall say, that he was able to jump on yesterday and talk with us about. Also getting Zachary Cohen's NBA best bets, Dan Karpik's NBA props best bets, and then JD, Jonathan Davis, his best picks for the NHL playoffs. 14 months now for just $199 when you use the promo code PRO. Head to vsin.com/subscribe to sign up today. Okay, the other game on the ice tonight. Also, I have a pick in pocket here, Keith. The Stars and the Jets. And boy, what an emotional come-from-behind victory in Game 7 for Dallas. They now get to get their wits about them, travel on the road. So yet another emotional win for a Game 7 with the Winnipeg Jets. Connor Hellebuck actually making some saves that got them through. Total 5.5. Dallas a short $1.25 favorite here for Game 1. I am on the under 5.5 at even money. I do think the netminders, Jake Ottinger and Connor Hellebuck, do come up with some of their best performances thus far this postseason. This is a very intriguing series too, right? Stars were the favorite as far as winning the cup coming in. Boy, oh boy, the end of the regular season was and all of a sudden they put it together to get into the second round.
So you're ready to believe in Connor Hellebuck in the playoffs, huh? That's the Hilliger. That's all right. So listen, I want to be on your side on this one, but I would be wrong if I did not give everyone out there some of the information. So, and then you do with it as you will. So, of the 16 starting goaltenders to play in the opening round, Hellebuck ranked dead last in save percentage at .830 and high danger save percentage at .692, right? But hey, you got the first series win. maybe you get rid of all your exercise the demons and get rid of them and step forward. I like Dallas to win this series. I like the Stars potentially to run away with this series. I could see them winning 4-1. I think the Stars have made the right moves. Hintz and Rantanen on the same line, seemingly like being on the ice at the same time, seemingly have worked. Roope Hintz coming back from some injuries during the season, and Rantanen is an absolute stud. I like the Stars. I'll root for you tonight, Jensen, but I'm not sure that I'm on your side with the play.
Our producer, Brandon Valesky, would love nothing more than to see a rocking chair 3-1 winner for his Dallas Stars. Perhaps the puck line may be in play here later today. What is in play every day here on VSiN By The Books? That's our Daily Diamond. That comes back when you come back with us next on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
You're tuned in to VSiN By The Books right here on VSiN.
Back in the Hump Day edition of VSiN By The Books. Jensen Lewis, Keith Irizarry in for today, tomorrow, and Friday. Going to be a lot of fun rest of the week here. Boatload of baseball talk per usual between us coming up not only today, but getting you set. Great slate to jump into. Joe Ingles will be with us also at the top of the hour. We'll revisit the puck and where his feelings are. I know he is going to be so locked into the Maple Leafs in that game, too, against the Panthers tonight. But, Keith, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Here is our Daily Diamond. All right, I tried not to go Apollo 13, but I couldn't get away from it. So, Houston, we have a problem, but it's not the one that you might anticipate here, Keith. So, Astros and Brewers will finish up their series today. It's almost like something's got to give. Okay, we get Framber Valdez on the mound for the Astros. They're only 3-8 as a road favorite. Riddle me that. Then how about Milwaukee? Pretty solid. All right, 3-3 as a home underdog. You know, rarely do you see that for decent teams at home. So I lean this way. I thought that the Houston issues would continue. I'm going to lean on the starters here, and I think the Brewers keep it close here early, if not have the outright lead after 5 innings. So my lean, the Brewers first 5 plus a half.
I like that. All right, so the Brewers have been great at home, right? 11-6 record at home for the Astros. The thing that I always come back to, and again, and Jensen, as a guy who played this game at the highest level, you tell me if you lean on this too. If a team is struggling, I try to look at their run differential, and if the run differential is still in the plus, I feel like they'll get it together. They'll figure it out. And the Astros, while they're 17-7 on the season and 17-17 on the season, clearly not the year they want so far. They're a +9 in run differential. Do you agree with me? Is that something you pay attention to or no?
No question. And it's just more of that litmus test, too, when you can kind of get a bit more into the details of why a team. So perfect example, and I'm glad you kind of brought up the run differential angle here. So if you go just through, the American League, we have Detroit at the top, +63 run diff. No question about it. They should be there. They're one of the best teams, if not the best team. The Mariners +30. Okay, 21-14. The next team is the Cleveland Guardians. 21-15, -16 run differential. Okay, so we look for sustainability parts here. You know, that's not necessarily sustainable. You're not going to continue to be above 500 with a negative run differential. We're not reinventing the wheel on that. But that's always something from a handicap perspective, especially early in the season, to say, okay, maybe Cleveland is catching a bit of luck. You know, maybe right. Houston at +8 is like, okay, there's been some good days, there's been some bad days, but we really haven't, had a breakout one way or the other. So absolutely that factors in. Again, Framber Valdez on the hill today for the Astros against the Brewers. And that one right now, Astros a short -$1.30 favorite, Brewers +$1.10. Quinn Priester on the hill there for Milwaukee. All right, so especially in betting here, I am a big run line fan. Always have been, always will be. So our next Daily Diamond topic, run away. And here it is. We'll talk about the best teams in baseball, Keith. Padres and Tigers. They're the only two teams in Major League Baseball right now that are covering the run line, regardless of what it is, at a 60% or better clip. We here at VSiN By The Books love to make money on bad teams as well. The Orioles, Angels, Rockies, and Pirates, all covering the run line under 40%. For you, as you handicap these games, how much does the run line for certain teams or in certain instances play into you, and how often would you want to target it?
So I'm a little bit more of a player prop guy to, cards on table. When I'm doing this for MLB Network, I lean more towards that. If the streaks and trends will show me that it's worth it, I will dive in on the run line. I mean, the Padres-Yankees game is a weird one, right? Because Dylan Cease has not looked like an absolute stud yet this year, and Max Fried has been absolutely dominant. So on that sense, I feel like unless you believe that Fried is about to have a clunker here, the Yankees feel like the right play there. So I would probably stay away from that. I would start looking at some batter versus pitcher matchups and see like what has Aaron Judge done in his career against Dylan Cease. Is there a way to target that one? The home run props for Judge have basically priced themselves out. It's funny. And Jensen, this is another one that I'd love to pick your brain because I get a chance to work with so many different people in this field. And when Matt Stryker and I were doing Bettor's Eye on MLB Network for 3 years, so Stryker would often say, if a home run prop wasn't 3-1, he wouldn't even look at it. My pushback to him was that, okay, so if you want to take the total base prop for Aaron Judge when he's raking the way that he normally is, you're not getting great value anyway. So if you think he's going to top the total base prop, why not just go for the home run, even if it's just 2-1 or plus 210? So that's kind of where I always sat with Judge. Stryker was against me on that one. So why don't you break the tie? What would you do?
Yeah, and again, I think it's a great exercise, too. Dave and I usually like to workshop some of those ideas. And again, for each bettor, it is a personal decision or maybe a personal lean there. So what I would like to do, and you can kind of get the best of both worlds there, almost taking a 2/3 part of a unit and putting it on the total bases just to cover in case we had this happen earlier in the year. Pete Alonso go for a home run prop. He ends up getting 2 doubles. The 4 total bases ends up cashing there. The home run prop does not. So it's a great exercise, and however individual people want to take care of it, that's a great way to be able to go do that. And by the way, speaking of those odds, Profit X is offering some of the best odds all baseball season long. It's a peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40 or more states right now. The first of its kind, obviously, in the United States. You'll be able to make more sports picks against other groups of fans rather than against the sports book. So it's an exchange that guarantees you the best odds on average by about 10 to 20%. And you can even request your own odds. Download Profit X today with code VSiN and earn up to $200 in profit cash over your first month. Speaking of some of the great odds, and by the way, great job by you because we will jump into Whiff Wednesday, and Dylan Cease will be a part of that as we move forward here in the show. Extra read all about it. We're in the news business. We are here to give you the facts, and it could be a breakout party as the Texas Rangers have a great matchup, at least a handful of their hitters do, Keith, against today's starter Tanner Houck for the Boston Red Sox. How about Adolis Garcia? A double and a homer and 8 ABs against Houck. Jonah Heim, who is scorching hot right now, a double and 3 home runs in 7 ABs. So a couple of leans for people out there, Keith, and very much to the exercise that you just talked about. Adolis Garcia, 2 or more hits, runs, RBI. Jonah Heim, 2 or more total bases. Great way to attack a guy in Tanner Houck who has had a little up and down so far in 2025.
And to me, hits, runs, RBI is arguably my favorite prop in all of Major League Baseball. And more importantly, it's my favorite prop early on in the year because we all know the books are really smart, right? Well, the books, I feel like they allow you to hit this prop early on and then things change. Because someone like Garcia, and then go with like any of the big mashers out there, you get the over 1.5 hits, runs, RBI early on in the season, and it ultimately will change to over 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs. And then it's not as sexy anymore. The over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs, like it's one of my favorite ones for last year was a Cody Bellinger. This year, like a Juan Soto would be a guy that I would look at with the over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs because he's not hitting the home runs yet. But if he walks twice and scores twice, cool, we hit. If he walks once and gets one single, cool, we hit. If he walks twice and gets, like, you can add all this up, and there's so many different ways to still hit this, as opposed to the total base prop, which if you get one single and score twice, and you're like, wow, he had a nice day, but I lost my prop. So the hits, runs, RBI prop is one of my favorites.
Absolutely love it. Tyler Mahle on the hill for the Texas Rangers tonight, 6:45 Eastern first pitch, plus 102 is short dog for the Rangers, who won 6-1 yesterday behind Nathan Eovaldi. Tanner Houck and the Red Sox minus $1.22 there at Fenway Park. Finally, let's stay with the extra theme. Let's double your pleasure here, Keith. Which of these team parlays to make the playoffs? Okay, so both teams got to make it. Royals, Red Sox plus 310, Giants, D-backs 3-1. How about the Blue Jays and Brewers almost 11-1 just to make the postseason? Which one of those you like?
Well, sure. If you just want to go for the long haul there, you go with the Blue Jays and the Brewers. I would lean Royals and Red Sox as not the biggest bang for your buck, but I do believe that Kansas City is going to figure things out. I pick them to win that division, so I'll rock with that, and I think the Red Sox will be good too. So it's not the biggest bang for your buck. Jensen, no, we go Blue Jays Brewers. Like, how do we not go for almost 11-1? Like, we have to.
I tell you, the Blue Jay rotation has been pretty solid. Yeah, this is all. Hey, and you got the best division in baseball right now outside of Colorado, in the Giants, the Diamondbacks, the Padres, and the Dodgers there. So a very fun exercise. Also a fun exercise, these teams that are down 0-1, and they're the favorites in the NBA postseason. How do they bounce back in Game 2? Take a look at Knicks, Celtics, Nuggets, Thunder when you come back on VSiN By The Books.
Unplug your cleaning routine with the Ryobi 18-volt 1 Plus cordless cleaning lineup. Our powerful and versatile tools make cleaning a breeze. One battery powers over 300 products, giving you the power to do more. Visit ryobitools.com to learn more, exclusively at the Home Depot.
You're tuned in to VSiN By The Books, right here on VSiN.
Welcome on back. A Wednesday edition of VSiN By The Books. Jensen Lewis, Keith Irizarry in for Dave Ross, who is, as we say, across the pond on holiday until next week. So it'll be great to get him some R&R. Listen, we had Billy Body on yesterday. Keith does a great job handicapping.
Yes.
All things soccer, boxing. He is the most interesting man in sports betting. So we had him on from Dubai yesterday. And our very own Grace Remington, who was in for Monday and Tuesday, she has some singing engagements coming up, and it also has to do with her having to do an English accent. So I was like, oh my God, you know what? When you do your performances, get some video of you doing the English accent. We're having Billy on Friday, so you'll get to have Billy live in living color, and we'll get his comparison. We'll get his handicap on how Grace's English accent went. So it's hysterical.
Have you heard her? I haven't heard it yet. Have you heard it?
She did a little bit in a commercial break, but she promised some video to send along the way. So we will get to review that when that's all said and done. Speaking of what's said and done here, Keith,
by the way, I don't do accents.
Yeah,
I don't do accents. Nope.
You did a great Ace Ventura, Exercising the Demons. That was pretty solid.
You know what? All right. That was all right.
There you go. I love it. All right. Game ones are in the books here for the NBA second round series. In case you missed it last night, Pacers with just a surreal and historic comeback. Feels like just a week apart in which they scored 7 points, or they came back from 7 down with just 40 seconds remaining to stun the Cleveland Cavaliers, who at one point at the end of the third quarter had a 14-point lead. Pacers get to win outright, 120-119. They will take a 2-0 series lead back to Indianapolis. Miles Turner, the leading scorer there for the Pacers with 23 points. Donovan Mitchell, a heroic effort in the loss with 48. But the injury issues last night rearing their ugly head, especially in that fourth quarter. No Darius Garland, no Evan Mobley, and no DeAndre Hunter. Right now, on the look ahead here for Friday night's Game 3 in Indianapolis, the Cavaliers a short 1.5 favorite, total of 229.5 in that one. Also last night, another upset. Golden State gets past Minnesota 99-88. So all four underdogs, and as Keith, you mentioned it, all four road teams winning Game 1 for the first time in playoff history. 99-88 the final, plus 195. The Warriors get the money. No sweat there on the spread whatsoever. And really, Keith, as we look at it now, heading into tonight's matchup, we'll jump into the Knicks and Celtics here in a moment. Surprised by all four of these road teams and underdogs winning, or could we have expected it from maybe one or two?
I am absolutely shocked that all four won, right? Growing up in New York, growing up a Knicks fan, I did not come into the Knicks-Celtics series with much hope for the New York Knicks. The Boston Celtics, to me, are the best team in all of the NBA. I know the Thunder were fantastic this year, and the Cavaliers have had their bright moments, and you can go on and on and on about all these teams, but the Celtics, to me, were the best team. For the Knicks to win, I thought things had to go perfectly for them and badly for the Celtics. There you go. You missed 45 three-pointers. That is as bad as you can go. Now, here's the deal. I still think the Celtics are probably going to win this series, but now you start looking at, all right, so if you think the Knicks were going to win one game at MSG anyway, you would imagine this should at least go 6. So then maybe you look at the Celtics to win 4-2, or maybe you look at the Celtics to win 4-3. You start trying to attack some of the players too. Jason Tatum has been getting lambasted in the media over the last day and a half for being kind of a no-show after getting double-digit points in the first quarter and then forgetting that he was playing basketball in the second quarter and the third quarter. So maybe he goes nuclear. You could look at some of his point props. His are, I want to say 27.5. I looked at it earlier this morning, the over for his points. So maybe you look at something there. Maybe you look at laddering his three-pointers, because you're not getting much value on his three-pointers. At 3+, 4+ is a little bit of value. 5+ is where you get to the real value. Maybe even you go to 6. Jensen, I love Jaylen Brown to have a game tonight. His prop at 21.5, something he's done in back-to-back games. And he talked a lot in the postgame about we need to get to the basket. And Jaylen Brown is the guy that does that, right? And I also don't think he'll be 1 for 10 from three-point land. All that is to say this. I think the Celtics win tonight. I don't know if they cover the points. I think the Knicks will make it a game. But if the Knicks get down by 20, I don't think the Celtics take the foot off the gas this time. So there's a lot of different avenues there. I go player prop, and I lean very heavily on the Boston Celtics side.
Celtics 10.5 point favorites right now, 210.5 the over-under. By the way, it was a 4-team parlay on all 4 moneyline underdogs. If you had the foresight to do that, it paid out 161-1. Just saying. Not that I would have taken the day off. There would have been signs. But had we just taken a flyer on that, many of you are a lot richer. What does that mean, though, when you're trying to take your bet to the next level? That would be first bet. And I'm telling you right now, whether it's Santa Anita, Gulfstream Park, the road to the Triple Crown, unfortunately, we won't have that this year with Sovereignty already being pulled out of the Preakness Stakes. First Bet puts the action at your fingertips. Sign up now at firstbet.com. That's the number 1, stbet.com. Use promo code VSiN200 to score a 20% rebate on all your wagers for the first 60 days, up to $200. Don't miss out. Bet smarter today at firstbet.com. All right, Nuggets and Thunder, the other game on our docket here tonight, Keith. 9:35 tip time Eastern. Thunder, an 11-point favorite. It was a dismal end to their game as some miscues, both mental and physical, allowed the Nuggets and Aaron Gordon to bury the go-ahead game-winning 3 in Game 1. Total at 229.5 for this. You would expect similar output, right? You mentioned the Celtics. They're not taking the foot off the gas pedal. You would believe the sense of urgency would be there from the Thunder. Any thought to potentially leaning a first-quarter spread or any particular players in this matchup? Of course, Nikola Jokic, an unbelievable unbelievable performance in his own right. You can still get plus money, I think you told me, for him to have a triple-double, which I'm shocked about. But anything standing out to you thus far before we get underway for the Nuggets and Thunder tonight?
Yeah, the triple-double is the play, right? So Jokic at plus 125 is the triple-double. I know that the Thunder are trying to turn Jokic into a scorer. They believe that they can win this series if Jokic scores 40 points every game, as long as he's also not getting 13 assists, right? So I think that's something to pay attention to, but plus 125 I have it on FanDuel, for Jokic to get a triple-double. If you believe in the Nuggets, if you believe in the legend that is becoming Aaron Gordon, and you know, you've had so many players over the years become like icons because they hit big shots. You know, big game, Robert Ory's got all the championships and hit a bunch of, you know, big shots, but he's not a Hall of Famer. Aaron Gordon is the kind of same guy. Had 3 3-pointers in the last game. He's not a three-point shooter, but if you believe in it, 2 or more 3-pointers for him, you get plus money. Double back to what you said, and I know I'm talking long here. You asked would I look at the first quarter? Yes, and I think the Thunder have to come out strong. I think they win the first quarter. What's the number? Do you have a number or a price there?
Yeah, I'll check it here because in conjunction with that, I did jump on the Thunder yesterday at minus 11, and I know that remains the same. I'll tell you what's fascinating. 4.5 is the number for the first quarter spread here for OKC. I think what is the most startling part of this evaluation, just on the data alone, the Thunder are getting just 20% of the bets on the spread and 38% of the money. I mean, everyone and their brother has piled on the Nuggets at plus 11, thinking that there's no way that the Thunder can blow the doors off them. I'm telling you, we're talking about a Thunder team, the best defensive team in the NBA in the regular season. Maybe as historic a team at double-digit spread covers at home just in the regular season. I think they come out with a vengeance, Keith. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has a performance to remember, and I think they get a split here tonight to send it back to Denver, all tied at 1.
So you say Shai has a monster night. Let's talk about this. So Shai to score 30 or more points, minus 210, not worth it. Shai for 35 or more points, plus 134. How you feeling there?
Okay, I'm probably in that 40 range. That's probably where I'm going if I'm jumping on him tonight.
Well, then plus 330 is the play for Shai. 40 or more points.
All right, I like that.
I'm in.
I think you could probably go every which way as far as the Thunder spread, and because I think Denver mentally, and again, you know, we're all professionals here. I don't think they punt this game knowing they've already got, you know, a game in hand, because again, they're going to look at the film from Indiana last night and see, oh, hey, if the Pacers can do it, well, we can do it. But anxious to see how this one plays out. So that is the menu for the NBA tonight. A couple of game 2s, and we'll see if some of those series can get equalized. What will be equalized? Our man Josh Engel is going to join us, betting analyst for Covers.com. He will talk all things NHL postseason when you come back on VSiN By The Books.